All right, now we have the monthly report, and we are going. This is the April monthly report. I want to kind of go line by line on this because most of the work has already been done for 323. So my guess is that we're going to start seeing things that are beyond 323, whatever that looks like. So, whether that's a 4.0 or that is a 324. So let's see. But I have not read this at all, and I did it again. I'm a day behind. So let's go like that. There you go. There's the April monthly report. All right, so throughout April, the AI features put significant effort into 323 release. The Copian creature, who, as far as I know, people are like lowering into their ships and stuff. We're really excited to share this new creature and the gameplay possibilities it provides. Copians are the first of the creatures we've been working on and have posed many challenges during their development. We also had the pleasure of bringing all the hard work of other teams to a cohesive whole. Okay. New features added for creature include ground tech alignment, which allows them to appear correctly situated when moving across the terrain, and the ability to attack in formation. Okay. I don't know. So, again, have I truly experienced what these should look like? I feel like only CIG has. Right? They don't really move right now. And what a lot of the AI issues, they keep pointing towards server meshing as this is the fix. So, AI tech. Last month, they focused on planetary navigation mesh, which is like the most important thing, I feel like, for AI on planets, at least, because this is getting them flying around, walking around, driving around, all those things. We still haven't really seen them yet. They improve generation response at lower frame rates so that movement over planets in 9 ideal performance scenarios result in an acceptable nav mesh generation times. Okay. Multiple multipath code was then optimized to execute faster. So they're doing a lot of performance updates, it looks like. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like the AI have been a little bit more performant lately, right? I really do. They're still not good, but they've been a lot better. They're not perfect, I should say, and nobody expects them to be at this stage, but they have been a lot better. The Copian kind of just stands still, right? But the FPS AI, I mean, distribution centers, they're pretty good. They're pretty scary. I'm not seeing anything that like really sticks out. Okay, progress also made on spaceship combat behavior, which is planned for release, alpha release 323. All NPC fighters now use behavior, which involves them using limited ballistic ammo rather than infinite rounds as before. Very nice. And finally, for AI tech, they implemented point defense cannons that will protect capital ships from incoming missiles. Okay. Animation. In April, animation team worked on various creatures, including 2 predators and a prey animal. We got to assume the prey animal is the cow, right? Predators, no idea. I don't think we're doing the big crab or the Yeti yet. Those are huge, right? So, character art. Ooh, in April, character art team began to work on 2 specialist armors, reworked a utility armor. What's a utility armor in this case? What do you think they mean by that? And supported requests for the character customizer. They also continue to work on creatures. Character concept team continued to develop specialist armors and completed handoff sheets. The hair team kicked off new hairstyles for Alpha 4.0. This is also utility armor like Novikov. Maybe? But I feel like that's specialist armor as well. But like, I guess what I'm asking is, because you guys are calling out what I would consider specialist armors, what's the difference between a specialist armor and a utility armor? I'd be very curious what that is. But this is interesting. The hair team kicked off new hairstyles for Alpha 4.0 and undertook R&D on fur. As always, we're probably reading way too much into these things. But do you really think they would say they're saving the hairstyles for Alpha 4.0, or is the intended plan for the next patch to be Alpha 4.0? Are we going to get 2 patches this year? 323 and its subsequents, which I think will be patches on their own, and then 4.0, and that's it. I think that could be a possibility. But given this and how much they have to do, I think it could be a possibility. Do you hate that or do you not mind that? In January, I would have said I like that. On May 2nd, I don't. Because the reason 323 is so bad is because there's too much stuff in it. And they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it. It was too much stuff. So if 4.0 is another huge patch on top of server meshing, 4.0 should just be server meshing. Just get it right. Then bring the stuff in that works with it. Figure out how it works and build your features around it. Instead of throw in features and hope everything works together, because it never does. And that's why we're here. Right? Audio. I'm probably not going to read much into this, but if you have not heard the audio changes in the engineering mode on the Gladius, it's really good. Really, really good. It's really awesome. They deserve it. I don't see the need to read all these paragraphs, but they did a great job with this. We saw the ISC on it a while ago. It was awesome. GG. Community. Bar Citizen World Tour stuff. They're planning for CitizenCon. Already 3,700 tickets sold. GG. I hear that's more than they had last year already, which is pretty crazy. The hype is real. And then core gameplay. Here's the good stuff. So this is going to take a while to get through. They closed out features for Alpha 3.23. So let's skip a lot of those things. For example, various improvements were made to weapons. This is a good one I don't want to ignore. You can now interrupt and cancel reloading, backpack reloading, ammo repooling via actions like weapon swap, sprint, and melee. Biggest change to FPS, I think. The best one. Support was also added for hit marker sounds, while recoil patterns are now the same for tap firing and holding the fire button. Should recoil patterns be the same for tap firing and holding the fire button, or should they be different? Just initially, I think that, like, don't people tap fire to make it less bad? Yeah, again, hit marker sounds are the most arcadey thing to me that they've done. I don't like them, but it is what it is. Put them in, and hopefully we can turn them off or something at some point. Do I think the Polaris and the Zeus are coming in Invictus launch week? Did I skip over ships yet? We'll see. I don't know. Let me read what they say about them first. ADS mount sensitivity is not scaled down for higher field of views anymore, and weapon bandwidth usage was improved. Okay. For jump points, the team enabled a new. So this is again 4.0 stuff. Another 4.0 thing. So it makes it look like they're pushing for 4.0 here again, which is interesting and weird because they have so many other features that should either come in and be stabilized before 4.0 or after 4.0. I might not be reading into it. I might be reading into it too much, but it's starting to seem like that's the desire here. For jump points, the team enabled new fail states if a jump drive detach, or it could be for the next server meshing test. So there's that as well. If a jump drive detaches or stops functioning, and added a tunnel push force from the edges of the map to help players stay on course. So how easy is it going to be to fail? I'm curious. They also implemented the first pass to procedurally generated tunnels from design parameters, including randomness, to tunnel shapes for variety. That's kind of cool. Although I would like I would like to like learn the jump, right? And be like good at it. That would have been cool, but I guess they're not going to do that. For the resource network and engineering, the team implemented a throttle that manages power in 1SU segments based on the updated UI design. What? No, Quill, everyone's having it. What? How is power in one SCU? I'm confused. I'll ask. I don't know what this means, but I'll ask. Additional item power range modifiers were added, which enable extra behaviors currently used for heat generation. This entered optimization for eventual release. So additional power range modifiers were added, which enable extra behaviors currently used for heat generation. So this is all the engineering stuff that we don't have. Light support and room system. The team implemented filters that degrade over time, with the life support generator ceasing to work once all are used. Gas propagation now uses accurate positioning within rooms, while atmospheres will equalize differently depending on whether they're high or low atmosphere environments. The technical requirements for crafting were scoped out with design, and room system documentation was updated with other teams to better implement their work. My desk just rose. My desk just rose, and it's not a standing desk. I'm so happy. Oh my God, I'm so happy. April saw continued work on Maelstrom and the radar and scanning feature. Okay, I'd love to know more about this. Planning continued for the transit refactor, and fixes were made for various analytic events not reporting correctly. For Arena Commander, the team were refactoring spectator mode, which is really cool. When we die in the engineering mode, it would be really nice to be able to spectate, I would say, because that mode is super fun, boarding and stuff. But then when you die, you just stand there and wait. Changes were made to Pirate Swarm. We already know this. Gun Rush supports multiple weapon lists. No, it doesn't. And VoIP and mute and unmute, I do not think work still. But maybe. At this point, they do. But the last time I checked, they did not work, and Gun Rush was only supporting one list, but they have other lists, apparently. Further development was done on the Contracts Manager, with teams writing code support for cargo hauling missions, or missions were added back in where players can choose between objectives, and general bug fixing was done. Or missions were added back in where players can choose between objectives. What was an or mission that we had before? I'm trying to think of one, but I can't think of where I had a choice to do this or that. Box missions? You would only deliver them, no? Grab this box and deliver it. You never said to A or B? That never happened, did it? Jumptown technically? Yeah, but that never left. That never changed. Maybe Kovalex? That's probably a good shout out. Xenothreat, I don't think had or. Grab the Tiger Claw, or you already have it? Maybe. Attack or defend? I don't think you ever had a choice. Investigation missions were just find players. So yeah, I wonder what those or missions are. We can ask Elliot next time he's around. Here's the one that I was looking forward to the most, like in the PTU, but never really saw it doing anything. Reputation-based hostility was further worked on too. Alongside several issues and improvements, a neutral zone was added. This has a special restricted area that all players have permission to be in, with NPCs ignoring reputation relationships and criminality and reacting neutrally to everyone. However, access will be revoked for any non-justified hostile act, with everyone else seeing that person as hostile and attacking accordingly. Neutral zone as in a location, or a neutral zone in the reputation bar? That's the only part I don't understand about that. To regain access after hostile actions, the offending player will need to exit the zone. Okay, so it is a location. And wait a set amount of time before entering again. Oh, I was quick on the mute there. Remaining inside when hostile or entering before the allotted time will completely reset the timer. For cargo, core gameplay progress with freight elevators, item banks, and persistent hangars. Except we don't have them. In-game branding. In-game branding and vehicle teams work closely to create brand identities for upcoming and existing vehicles. Okay. Probably the Mirai one that we already saw. They continue to work on an in-house tool from ships to signage. This will be an invaluable tool. Okay, interactables, fire extinguisher. We saw this in the sneak peek not too long ago. Engineering stuff is clearly coming, so hopefully we'll see that soon. Ooh. Oh, this gets me so excited. Oh my god. I don't know why. I do know why. This is cool, man. This is cool. Industrial cargo containers had their final R passes, including branding and signage, giving them more credibility as container storage. I love this. I know it is probably something that you're laughing at, but when you're doing cargo missions for the Interstellar Transport Guild or Ling or Unified, I think this is, or I forgot what this one is. If you're doing missions for these guys, you want to use their boxes. Right? It's awesome. I think it brings you in the world. It's immersive. It's great. Lighting has been looking really good in the game, so keep it up. Locations. Locations team spent April closing up features for Alpha 323. The sandbox completed distribution centers. Anybody else still falling through distribution centers? Have they really completed them? I would say no. The team are looking forward to players getting their hands on these locations and looking for feedback. Okay, so if they're looking for feedback, then the falling through the floor would be considered bug fixes or whatever, but they're largely complete, I guess. Sandbox team are currently finalizing the last few outposts going into Pyro for Alpha 4.0 again, while supporting other location teams with tasks for the upcoming patch release. The last few outposts going into Pyro for 4.0. What? Landing Zone team finalized art for the cargo initiative and helped out other teams on Alpha 323. Okay. Now, here's the part that I've been looking forward to the most. Mission design. Last month, mission design continued polished content for Alpha 323, including Xenothreat and fauna-related missions. They also made quality of life improvements, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Work was done on the new contracts manager to ensure it has all existing functionality alongside improvements. They also made the commodity update journal entry a lower priority notification and reassessed what missions notify players when they're available. Further bug fixing was done for Overdrive Initiative 2. The team then used the extra time until cargo updates to add additional high-quality content and further polish to the cargo hauling and kill and collect missions. Okay. So, the various shipping companies of Stanton often outsource cargo hauling to freelancers through contracts. These job board missions task a player with picking up the designated cargo shipment at one or more locations and offloading it at one or more destinations. At their core, these missions will test the player's knowledge of their ship's specs and their ability to weigh the time spent loading and traveling against the payout. They will see player transport goods back and forth from various jump points, LEOs. LEOs are like port Tressler, Lagrange points, landing zones, and distribution centers. These goods consist of various commodities and vehicles of real value. All right? Allowing players to get a rudimentary sense of what it will be like to have a hauling career. Simultaneously, this represents our first step towards implementing the logistical structure of the verse in a tangible, playable form prior to a quanta-controlled system. Okay. Tangible means it makes sense. Right? They said quanta. Yeah, before quanta, meaning it's still not here. So, please be good and cool. I mean, for me, like, please be simple and just, like, please make sense. That's where I'm at with that. Tangible means we could touch it. I know, but it also means, like, believable, I feel like, to me. Like, obviously, we're interacting with them, but in a believable way, I feel like. Nice use of buzzwords, of course. Narrative. I'm so tired of narrative. Talking about how they're going to make things more narrative, and then all we've gotten is text. Pre-production for 1.0. Yep. So there goes anything for us there. And online technology. Easy anti-cheat stuff. Network operations center, blah, blah, blah. Nothing sticks out there. R&D is all making things look a little bit better. Tech animation. Tech animation team continue to generate and implement new head assets to the DNA gene pool and are not far from completing the initiative of 40 heads for each genre. We need that, I think. Many devs are currently dealing with the complications of players and NPCs putting on and taking off clothes. Okay. Tech design. Did I skip ships? Did I just skip over ships? Because I notice I'm getting towards the end and I don't see ships. Did I skip over things? Did I skip over other things? I'll come back to it. Only ships. Okay. Whoops. I'll get back to it. Tech design. Call to action prompt was added to the elevator panels of multiple ships. For Arena Commander, worked on Resource Network game mode, including enabled doors without power. Yes, that was noticed through our playtest about how problematic that was. UI. Montreal-based team focused on the cargo feature and worked closely with core gameplay on Resource Network in the UK. Updates were made on player feedback. VFX, water, you know. So let's find ships. I apologize, guys. You guys said it was towards the top. Oh, there it is. I went straight to audio. That's weird. RSI Zeus progressed. Continuing with the beauty and polish stage, the cockpit is now gray box complete. Oh, okay. So last month, I thought the Zeus was largely done but they were only talking about the exterior. The cockpit is only gray box complete, which established the standard for the remainder of the ship. The habitation area is receiving the last elements of polish, including resolving the ceiling and personal storage areas. The cargo room ceiling had a pass, and devs began finalizing the walls. The mess hall is nearing completion, as is the central hallway. I was expecting to see this at Invictus, given the fact that they'll probably resell it, let's be real, but like I thought it was going to be at the actual event, given how far they said it was along last month, knowing that they had a whole nother month to do it. But okay, I misunderstood that. Work on the exterior progressed well, which now has significantly increased the level of detail throughout. The team are currently going through all other sections to ensure they have the same level of detail. Ship also started looking at lighting, including a pass of every room and the entire exterior. Following this, it'll be outfitted with proper fixtures. Anvil Legionnaire is white box complete, though requests were made to improve its usability when boarding hostile vessels. The devs are currently exploring options for collapsible cover built into the boarding tunnel. Very interesting. Okay. This is one of the more interesting ships that are coming, because will it have its actual gameplay or not? Will it be able to board everything? I'm curious. Elsewhere, Resource Network was finished for 10 ships, while legacy updates were made to 3 additional ships to support a new selection of paints. I wonder what ships they're selling with paints at Invictus, right? But 10 ships with Resource Network. Interesting to see what they do with that. And then, somebody pointed out no efforts towards what is it called? Gold standard on ships here. At least not mentioned. So it's kind of bummer. E1, you're not getting the E1. But yeah, that was the monthly report. So big things to call out. A lot of mentions of 4.0. Cargo hauling missions sound exactly like we would hope them to be, I believe. We'll see how piracy goes with them. And I don't know what else. What else really stuck out to me? Really, those two things. Oh, I mean, the branding. right? No Polaris mentioned at all. There wasn't one last month either. So you think it's suspicious? Maybe it's actually coming. It was pretty far along last time, so we'll see. But I think the big thing is a lot of mentions of 4.0. A lot of mentions. And they're making it seem like it's the intended next patch. Whether or not that'll be a thing, I don't know. Super interesting, though. Also, the completion of Pyro, kind of. They make it sound like they're done with Pyro. Yeah, that's a good point, Tumblr. They could do a 4.0 without meshing. Technically, yeah, but why? So, yeah. Oh, PDC is mentioned for cap ships as well. Yep, that's a good thing. Making missiles not so silly, right? Yeah, they already did it in technical, but at this point, why, right? You're so much further along. And you can't do 4.0 without meshing. You could do Pyro without meshing, but Pyro and Stanton. But 4.0 is meshing. That is the decider of 4.0, right? So we'll see. I think we're also now learning that a ship being in polish phase does not necessarily mean something we would interpret as like nearly finished. Well, because it's from art. It's the polishing of the art, not the polishing of the ship. So after the polishing of the art goes into the actual like design of the ship, which is funny because it should be designed first and then art. But that's Star Citizen for you. But that was the monthly report. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching it with me. Taking a little half an hour out to look through those things, but 4.0 was the big call out there. I don't know if I buy it. I think we're getting at 324. Let me know down in the comments or in Twitch chat here, because I think we're getting 324.